You've got some amazing content for your online course, or maybe you've got a really transformational group coaching program, but you're wondering, how the heck am I supposed to get people there? That's what we're talking about today on this episode of Delegate This. So there's this old phrase that goes something along the lines of, if you build it, they will come. It's from a movie called Field of Dreams, and it's a good movie, but it's just not true. You can build the most amazing program in the world, and if people don't know about it, they're not going to come. They're not going to show up. You have to have a very clear process in place for how you're going to market and sell your online program. And that's what we're talking about. So we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of it. Okay. We're not going to take time talking about that fluffy stuff. Like, yes, you have to have goals. You have to, kind of go through and really, yes, all of that stuff's important, but we're talking the nuts and bolts and strategy here. So some of the things that are really important for you to have in place. Number one is graphics. Okay. Now, graphics can be really pretty simple if you're really trying to create a program that's short and sweet and you just want to get it out there as quickly as possible. In this case, you can use stock photos and stock images without a problem. If you're really trying to create something that's going to turn into more of an evergreen or more of a branded program for you, then I highly recommend that you get somebody to work on branded graphics for this program. You're also going to need copy, okay? And lots of copy. And lots of copy. I cannot stress this one enough. I think it's probably one of the things that Virtual A-Team's clients struggle with the most is producing enough of the necessary copy to get these things done. So don't skimp on this. Make sure that you're taking the time to write effective copy that's going to convert people into customers. Now, this is the case whether your program is free because it's an intro to your funnel, or even if it's a high-end ticket item and there's a big dollar amount associated with it, you still need to have copy that converts. Okay, now how are people going to figure out that you have a program to offer? So there's a couple of really primary ways that you're doing this. One is going to be emailing your existing list. So this is where you bare minimum one email to introduce. More likely, even if you're in your short time frame, you're going to have 3 emails to introduce your program to your existing list. Could be as many as 7, depending on how much of a gap that you have between when you start marketing and when you're actually going to start the kind of the first day of the program type thing. So between 1 and 7 emails, with 3 being a good sweet spot there if you're doing it a little quicker. Now, each of these emails should have a different focus, and the focus is really critical. It's not just writing emails to say, hey, by the way, buy my program. Hey, by the way, sign up for this. There should be a strategy around what each of these emails says. And if you're not familiar with what that strategy is, then do a little bit of homework or delegate that to somebody that really does know how to create emails with that kind of a strategy. The next way that people might be discovering your program is via social media. I mean, this is a great phenomenal way, especially when we're like shortening the time frame here for marketing purposes. We need to get the word out as quickly as possible. We may be using social media to do that. And this could be on any one of the social media platforms. Might involve video. Certainly it's going to involve some text-based messages. You might use Facebook ads if that fits in with your overall budget and strategy, or other service ads, but really coming up with great content that also follows a similar strategy that we talked about for the emails, only this is geared towards social media. So that's how we're kind of getting that keyword out there. And also make sure that you're calling people and saying, by the way, I have this program that's launching. Do you know anybody that might be interested? Would you be willing to help me promote it? Or are you interested yourself and would you be happy to sign up? Make sure you're picking up that phone. I cannot stress that enough. If you have great relationships with individuals that might do this for you, don't depend just on the emails or social media. Get that phone in gear and start calling people. Best way that you can get butts in seats, even if they're just virtual butts in virtual seats. All right, so email and social media. Now, once somebody looks at that and says, oh, hey, I'm interested, I want to learn more, the next step is they're going to click on a link, and that link is going to take them to a landing page. This also might be called a sales page or a lead page. Any of these terms are fairly interchangeable. They all mean very similar things, but yet they could also be classified very differently. It's kind of a gray area. But this is the page where people are going to come and they're looking to have 3 questions answered. They want to know, is this program for me? They also want to know, what pain point does this program solve that I have? They don't care, like, let's say you live in an apartment and this program is going to help you figure out how to do lawn care. Okay, well, that's a clear pain point, but they don't have that pain point. So it's not solving a pain point that they have. So it needs to be, you know, is it for you? Is it solving a pain point that you have? And how is it going to solve that pain point that you have? So that's really important, to make sure that you're answering those 3 questions on that landing page. If you're not answering those 3 questions, people are going to walk away with, they're not sure. I'm like, well, I don't want to give over my email address, or I don't want to sign up and pay for something if I'm not sure that this program is for me. So make sure that you include those things. Now, somebody's raised their hand, they said, yes, oh yes, you're going to solve my problems. This is totally for me. I absolutely know this program is going to be a great fit. Now, either they're going to sign up with their email, again, if it's a free program, or they need to have a way to process a payment. Asking them to send you a check in the mail is probably not a great way to set this up. Even asking them to do a Venmo kind of thing, it's just not ideal. It doesn't lead to a level of professionalism overall. So you really want to make sure that you have an effective payment processing system. Now, this can be as basic as PayPal. That's totally okay. And in fact, PayPal is one of the easiest to integrate. So it's totally a doable thing if you're kind of doing this on the fly and you want to get something out really quick to promote. Go ahead with something like PayPal just to get that ball rolling. Now, once they've submitted their payment, they need to know what's next. They need to know that they've been accepted into the program. So have that redirect to some sort of a thank you or a welcome page. This is that page that's going to welcome them into the program. It's going to tell them what the next steps are. Ideally, you'll have a video with this, and it'll be a great video that warms them up to you, gives them some more information about who you are and what they can expect. And then they're also going to be receiving an email at the same time. Now, this email is going to verify that they're in the program and that all is good. Now, if you have a payment processing system, you have to have a way for that processed email or that processed payment to connect to your email system. So this is going to be another kind of a technical step. You need to have that in place in order to know, okay, so they've paid for it. Now, how do they get into my email funnel? And making sure that that's connected. Okay, so you've created some great graphics and some awesome copy. You've created that email system to promote your program. You're putting it out there on social media. There's an awesome landing page that they can find out more. Once they decide it's for them, you've got a great payment processing system in place that connects to your email automation system. And they also sends them to a welcome page, and then they get a welcome email. Whew, there's a lot of steps there. And the key is that a lot of my clients, a lot of virtual A-Teams clients, until you've done these programs over and over again, you don't often realize how many steps are in place, how many technical aspects, because you also need to know How's the tech going to work once the program starts? All of that has to be integrated into some of that follow-up email stuff, so that you have to know, okay, here's the Zoom link, or here's the access to the videos, or here's the access to the Facebook group. So checking all of those boxes. Now, I've got a great blog article on my website, and I'll link that in the description below, that talks about this in detail and gives you a little bit of a checklist to go through to make sure that you're checking off all the bells and whistles. Now, of course, not all of that stuff is going to apply depending on the level of the program that you're doing, but at least it's inclusive of pretty much everything, and you can then pick and choose which things aren't necessary for the scope of the program that you're doing. If you don't have all these things in place, you are not going to have virtual butts and seats. So make sure you check out that article, and if you're interested, here's our next video. More great content for you to check out. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.